No Time to Die. The final James Bond film starring Daniel Craig is right around the corner. For now, anyway. So I decided that this would be a good time to look into a piece of history that many of you might not know about. The first actor to play James Bond was actually American. Of course, I'm talking about a time before Sean Connery, David Niven, and Peter Sellers. In the early 50s, there was an American mystery anthology series known as Climax, one of the first TV shows to be transmitted in color. The series ran for 4 seasons, but only a handful of episodes have survived the aging of time, including the first Bond adaptation ever, Casino Royale. Climax's parent company, CBS, had gotten in touch with Ian Fleming and offered him $1,000 for the rights to his new novel. Today, that offer adds up to approximately $10,000. Fleming accepted the offer primarily for the money. The novel wasn't a major success yet, so he was financially desperate. So in this American version, Bond is played by actor Barry Nelson, best remembered today as Stuart Ullman from Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. At the time he was offered the role, Nelson was working on a sitcom called My Favorite Husband. Since James Bond wasn't a household name back then, Nelson wasn't really interested in the project, but accepted it mainly because it would give him the opportunity to work alongside one of his favorite actors, Peter Lorre, who had been cast as Bond's nemesis, Le Chiffre. The show was broadcast live on television on October 21st, 1954.
The game to be played tonight is for the highest stakes of all. A man is going to wager his life. Climax presents Casino Royale from the bestseller by Ian Fleming.
This version of Bond, a spy for the Combined Intelligence Agency, has been sent to Casino Royale to meet his British contact, Clarence Leiter, played by Australian actor Michael Pate. Leiter explains to Bond that his assignment is to beat Soviet agent Le Chiffre in a game of Baccarat. If Le Chiffre loses, his Soviet spy masters would have an excuse to take him out. But Le Chiffre has one advantage over Bond: his old flame, Valerie Mathis, played by Linda Christian. Yes, this character is a combination of both Vesper and Mathis. In the novel, Fleming used the Baccarat game as a jumping-off point that kicked the story into motion. But since the show was only an hour long and filmed live, resources were more limited. The majority of the special takes place in the casino, and as a result, the Baccarat game becomes the main focus of the story instead. But they do try to keep some minor details and actions of the book intact. Bond knows his hotel room is bugged and plays music to drown out the noise.
Music lover.
Bond explains the rules of Baccarat before the big game, only this time he explains them to Leiter rather than Vesper. He hides the winnings behind his hotel room door number. Bond is secretly held at gunpoint at the table. Le Chiffre carries razor blades on him. Valerie, like Vesper, is revealed to be a double agent. Bond is tortured for the winnings, though it's obviously not as gruesome as in the book or in the 2006 movie. I mean, the censors would have never let them get away with that. And Le Chiffre's right-hand man is named Basil, played by Gene Roth. Roth is most remembered today for guest starring in several Three Stooges shorts, most famously Dunked in the Deep, where he plays a foreign spy attempting to smuggle government secrets out of the U.S.
Now you hold this film for safekeeping till we do away with that spy.
That's what you think.
That's what I said. Hello.
Watching the special today, it's nothing spectacular. There are a couple of brief moments that work, but it's mediocre at best. Some of the attempts at one-liners fall flat.
Aren't you the fellow who was shot? No, I'm the fellow who was missed.
And Barry Nelson has too much of a nice guy personality to play a rough, tough, womanizing agent like James Bond. And thankfully, I'm not the only one who thinks that. Most critics today praise Peter Lorre's performance as the special's only saving grace. In 2010, David Cornelius of eFilmCritic.com called Lorre's acting the real main attraction here. The veteran villain working at full weasel mode, a grotesque weasel whose very presence makes you feel uncomfortable. Bond, on the other hand, Cornelius said that Barry Nelson trips over his lines and lacks the elegance needed for the role. He's miscast, that's for sure, even on the level of American tough guy, and he never quite convinces us during the hackneyed espionage bits. Peter DeBruge of Variety, however, noted that Nelson's portrayal of Bond suggests a realistic human vulnerability that wouldn't resurface until Eon finally remade Casino Royale more than half a century later. Long after the success of the movies, even Barry Nelson criticized his own adaptation, famously calling it a 00 and a half. Even back in 1954, the special was met with mixed results. The episode was a minor setback for the franchise as a whole. Many believed that James Bond had cinematic potential, but the TV special didn't do him any favors. Despite the mixed response, though, CBS did suggest the idea of a new TV series continuing the adventures of the James Bond character. They even invited Ian Fleming to come on board as the writer. Fleming accepted the proposal and began to work on outlines for the series. When CBS ended up dropping the idea completely, Fleming decided to publish a few of the episodic stories he had already written into a new book titled For Your Eyes Only. For many decades, Climax's Casino Royale episode was lost until film historian Jim Schoenberger discovered a 16mm black and white kinescope print in 1981. MGM even included an incomplete version of the special in the special features of the DVD release of the 1967 Casino Royale. Today, if you're curious to check out this adaptation for yourself, you can find it on YouTube. But if you're not interested, you're not really missing anything either. I'm going to give Climax's Casino Royale 1.5 stars. Guys, thank you so much for continuing to watch and support my videos. It really means a lot to me. And if you like this, you can click here and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.